It is the month of May, which means we are headed into the wedding season. So what are we going to cover in this series of videos? One, an overview of Alabama's marriage law that changed back in 2019. So I'm going to give you some history as to why that occurred. And then, most importantly, I'm going to go over the Alabama notary's role in the marriage certificate process, what we're supposed to do, what the couple is responsible for, and who actually approves and processes the marriage certificate. And then in the last video, I want to share with you some non-notary type services and activities that some notaries perform um, to assist the couple with the overall wedding process. And you may get some ideas about some additional services that you can offer in your county. All right, if you're ready, let's move on to the background. Alabama's notary laws, I beg your pardon, Alabama's marriage laws changed June 1, 2019. Why did they change? Well, it goes back to a lawsuit that was filed against the state of Alabama because in 2015, a number of county probate offices refused to marry same-sex couples. Now, this was after the U.S. Supreme Court had ruled that same-sex couples could be married, and it was covered under the U.S. Constitution. But there were a number of Alabama counties who disagreed with that ruling, and they refused to process or to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. And so the lawsuit that was filed in 2015, if you want to look it up, was Obergefell versus Hodges. And that lawsuit resulted in another ruling that said to at the state of Alabama, you all are not following federal law, and that's a problem. And so I wasn't privy to those meetings, but based on that United States Supreme Court ruling, the state of Alabama understood that it needed to make some changes. And so the change that was made, it was several of them, but they had to change the way that they were currently approaching same-sex couples who wanted to be married. And so a bill was passed. It is now known as Act 2019-340. That new law resulted in the following. One, it eliminated marriage licenses across the board. This is important because there are still many Alabama residents who don't know about these changes, and they may approach you as the notary and ask you to please get their marriage license, or they think they have to apply for a marriage license. Since 2019 to today, there is no such thing as an Alabama marriage license, okay? Because the new law eliminated licenses and replaced it with an affidavit that requires notarization. So in essence, The new law came up with a process so that the couple, they are entering into a type of contract with one another, okay? The second part of the law that was passed, excuse me, it says that not only is the marriage license done away with, but going forward, same-sex couples and opposite-sex couples must be treated the same. So no more could a county probate office say to a couple, no, we're not going to acknowledge your marriage, okay? Because it was ruled to be unconstitutional. The third thing, this is important, wedding ceremonies, whether they're civil ceremony, a religious ceremony, or celebratory ceremony, is no longer required. In the past, Alabama's code required that there be a marriage license and that there be some type of ceremony in order for a marriage to be approved or authenticated. Now there is no requirement that the couple undergo a formal civil ceremony, religious ceremony, or celebratory ceremony. That doesn't mean they can't do it. It's optional. The reason why I say this is important is because it doesn't matter to Alabama when that ceremony occurs. It could occur not at all. It could occur before the Alabama marriage certificate is signed and notarized. The ceremony could take place while the notarization is taking place, and the ceremony can occur after the notarization or signing ceremony takes place. Okay? It's not required. It's up to the couple what they want to do. They can meet with the notary before, they can meet with the notary after, or they can invite the notary public to attend their marriage ceremony, religious ceremony, and incorporate the signing and notarization into the wedding ceremony. It's totally up to the couple. The fourth change that happened with Act 2019-340 is that minors, teenagers who are at least 16 or 17 years of age, can get married as long as one of their parents gives permission. And the way that parent gives permission is there is a separate form, an affidavit that the parent of the minor must sign and have notarized, okay? And then finally, a couple's official marriage date isn't when they do the ceremony. Their official marriage date is the date that the Alabama marriage certificate is signed and notarized. Yeah, lots of changes, big changes. All right, so if you're a notary and you don't believe in same-sex marriages, what do you do? Can you refuse a couple? You can refuse to notarize anyone's signature, but you must always have a good reason for doing it. And using the reason or the excuse you don't believe in same-sex marriage may not be a good or valid reason. I'm not saying I don't respect your personal opinion, but keep in mind when we become commissioned Alabama notaries, we take an oath to uphold the laws of the U.S. Constitution and the laws of the state of Alabama. And as a notary, we're to serve as unbiased witnesses. So it is my personal opinion, personal understanding that how I feel about same-sex marriage should not come into play when I am acting as a commissioned Alabama notary. All right. The other reason why I say this is there are examples of other public officials who have taken that approach of, oh no, I don't believe in same-sex couples, and they have found themselves being sued. The one that I'm going to mention in this video is a Kentucky court clerk who refused to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple. She wound up going to jail and losing her job because, again, once the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that same-sex couples can be married, and that's the law, not only federal, but then state law, you've got to uphold it. So you can Google, her last name escapes me, but you can just Google Kentucky court clerk, same-sex marriage, and you'll see that story. Now, bakery owners are not public officials, but in Tennessee, a same-sex couple placed an order for their wedding cake, either over the phone or maybe through email. I believe it was over the phone. And all was well. They placed their order. When the couple went to the bakery to do the tasting or approval of the cake, the bakery owner was surprised to see it was two men, and the bakery owner said, "I'm so sorry, I am not going to make your cake for your wedding because I don't believe that same-sex couples should be married." And that bakery owner ended up being sued and going to court over it. And the couple won their lawsuit. I am mentioning this because those two examples, what they say to me is that if I discriminate against same-sex couples, if I discriminate against anyone based on certain factors, religion, race, ethnicity, sexual preference, religion, and I'm drawing a blank on one or two others, that could be deemed illegal, discriminatory, and then I wind up in court. And so, notaries, I really encourage you to adhere to the laws to fulfill your obligation as a commissioned Alabama notary public. Take this very, very seriously. If you have more questions about this, I'm really not the one for you to ask. I think you really do need to seek legal advice if you still have issues with this. So back to, can you refuse? Yes. What would be a good reason to refuse to notarize? Well, a legal reason, an acceptable reason to tell a couple no would be they don't have sufficient identification. You have reason to believe that one of the individuals does not want to be married or is being forced to be married. Um, they provide you with fraudulent information. Um, so lack of ID, they refuse to take the oath. Those would be good reasons. Okay. All right. In the next 3, maybe 4 slides, I'm going to do a quick overview of the entire process. I want to paint a picture in your mind about how the Alabama marriage certificate gets completed and notarized and processed, so that we're all on the same page. Okay. All right. So the couple starts the process. That makes sense, right? It doesn't originate with the notary. So what should not be happening is a couple calling you and saying, hey, we want to get married. Can you provide us with the form and all of that? It's okay if you want to direct them, tell them where to go, but ideally, usually the couple has figured that part out. So the process starts by the couple going to alabamapublichealth.gov website to complete the Alabama marriage certificate online. They are going to, after they complete the form, fill in all the blanks, and we'll take a look at a sample marriage certificate in the next video. After they fill out all of the blanks, they need to decide what date they want as their official marriage date. Okay. So let's say that they met each other on June 19th and started dating. They met at a Juneteenth festival, the couple, and so they want to get married on June 19th. So they know now that they're going to need to meet with a notary on June 19th in order to have that as their official marriage date. Okay. Getting that date pinned down is just really important as soon as possible. And then they can add the ceremony on there later or not at all. Okay. Then the couple needs to find and book an Alabama notary. I put Alabama in red because unlike many other forms, the state of Alabama has said that only commissioned Alabama notaries can notarize this form. Now, in 2019, when this law first went into effect, that was not a requirement. In fact, 2019, 20, 21, 22, at least for 4 years, notaries in all 50 states were able to notarize the form. And then the couple would mail it into Alabama to process. But by doing that, there were a lot of issues. I'm not aware of all of the issues, but there were a lot of issues and problems with that. So in either 2023 or 2024, I think it was 2023, a change was made. And Alabama said, okay, we've got to cut down on the confusion and let's only allow Alabama commissioned notaries to notarize this form. I think it was done just to put some control around it. And so that if the probate judge's office has any questions about the notarization, it's a lot easy for them to reach out to me, a resident of Alabama who is bonded, and they have a copy of my bond here. They can call me up, Michelle, we need you down here. We've got questions about this form you notarized for this couple on June 19th. And so I would have my journal, I'd be able to answer any questions, and more importantly, I can be held accountable for my actions. It's a lot easier to hold me accountable than a notary somewhere in Trenton, New Jersey, that the probate office here in Alabama is trying to reach. Okay. So the couple filled out their certificate. They've chosen their date. They found a notary. How do they find a notary? They're going to probably start with Google. There are many notaries in Alabama who um, have a website or listed on Google Business Listing. And then, of course, most Alabama libraries have notaries, and you can take it there. I would mention the UPS store franchise, but most of them do not notarize certain documents, and the Alabama marriage certificate, I believe, is one of the documents their notaries will not notarize. So go to Google, check Google Business Listing, go to the Alabama Public Libraries in your community. You can check with your bank. You can check with, if you're a member of the Automobile Club of Alabama, you can check with them. Or if you have a local insurance agency, you can check with them. All right. When it's time for your appointment with the notary, you are going to print out, the couple prints the Alabama marriage certificate form, takes it to their appointment with the notary, presents identification, and that is when they will sign and date the certificate. So again, all of this that you see on the screen is the couple's responsibility. Now for the notary. This is what we do. All right. When we get the phone call from the couple who's going to say, hey, I want to get married. Can you notarize the Alabama marriage certificate for me and my fiance? The notary is responsible for quoting the fee. It's imperative that we explain upfront what the fee is. Now, notaries, you can do it for free. You do not have to charge for any notarization. So if you want to do it as a gratuity, not as a gratuity, but yeah, as a gift to someone, as a public service, by all means do it. In fact, I interviewed a notary in Mobile. His name is Frank Barrere. I hope Barrere, down in Mobile County. So if you are someone engaged, looking to get married, Google Frank Barrere, because he will notarize this form for free. In fact, I interviewed Frank on one of my other YouTube videos. I will put a link to that video in the description. Make sure you check it out. All right. So it's our responsibility to quote our fee. As you know, excuse me, in 2025, The approved Alabama notary fee is $10 for each notarial act. If you, the notary, are notarizing both individuals' signature, each signature counts as two notarial acts. You'll be notarizing a signature, and this type of form requires us to place the couple under oath. We're going to administer an affirmation oath. So $10 for their signature, $10 for the oath. That is the most we can charge per individual as the Alabama notary fee. Now, so if I'm meeting with both the bride and the groom or both individuals, the most that I can charge would be $20 for the groom, $20 for the other groom or the bride. Okay. So a total of $40 would be the notary fee, the Alabama approved notary fee. Remember, I can charge $0, I can charge $40, or I can charge something less than $40. Notaries who get in their vehicles to drive and meet with the couple or any signer for that matter, we are allowed to charge a reasonable travel fee. Okay. The Code of Alabama does not say how much we can charge, but it is understood that it will be reasonable. All right. The Code of Alabama does dictate how much we can charge for each notarial act. All right, so now that we've taken care of that, quoting our fee, we're going to confirm the date. The notary confirms when they're going to meet the couple and where we're going to meet the couple. I'll go ahead and say at this point, it is acceptable for a notary to meet with one individual and another Alabama notary to meet with the fiance on a different date, a different location. All right. Most of the time, I end up being asked to meet with both individuals, but it can be a split signing. When the notary meets with the couple, the notary will verify their identity and make an entry in their notary journal. Now, I know you want to say, but Michelle, in Alabama, we don't have to keep a journal. It's very foolish for any notary, including one in Alabama, not to record every notarial act in a journal, especially for this type of notarization. Especially. This is a vital statistic document. There are people with prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements. These situations wind up in court. I want to make sure that if at a later date I am contacted by the couple or their attorney or their attorneys, their individual attorneys, that I have a record of what I did and that the marriage, as far as a notary is concerned, was done properly. So I really encourage you, if you don't record any other type of notarization that you perform, I really feel like you need to record this one. Still with the notary. Again, we're at the appointment. The notary has verified the ID, recorded the transaction in the journal. And then you're going to make sure that the couple reads and understands the affidavit of spouses section. That's a section on the form. It's in the middle section of the form. And I'll just go ahead and read it real quick. It says, our notarized signatures below affirm that neither of us is currently married. Each of us is legally competent to enter into a marriage, and we are not related by blood or adoption, such that the marriage would violate Code of Alabama, Section 13A, 13.3. 1975. Each of us is entering into marriage voluntarily and of our own free will and not under duress or undue influence, and we are 16 years of age or older. The effective date of the marriage is the latter of the dates of our signatures below. And so it's the notary's role to make sure that the couple reads that, understands it, and agrees with that. It's the notary's responsibility to administer the oath. In this case, they're not swearing to God. They are affirming that the information on the affidavit on the Alabama marriage certificate is correct. Then it's the notary's responsibility to watch as the signer writes their name and places their official signature on the certificate and dates the form. This step is always required when the notarial act is a jurat act. Then we add our official notary seal to the form, we sign it and date it. And then we give the form back to the couple. It is the couple's responsibility to make sure that it gets filed at any county, I'm going ahead of myself, probate office. It is our responsibility to remind the couple, I feel that it is, they have 30 days to get that filed. If they drag their feet, if they get forgetful, if they go on a 60-day honeymoon cruise without filing it, when they take it to the probate office, they're going to say, sorry, too much time has passed. I feel this is a Michelle recommendation. Notaries, when you meet with the couple, explain what your refund policy is, meaning when they get to the probate office, if the clerk says, no, this is done wrong, if the couple made a mistake and it has to be notarized again, you should let them know if you're going to charge another fee or not. If it's your mistake, I would hope that you would correct it without charging another fee. So it's just a good practice to explain what the refund policy is. All right, so now we're back to the couple. After you have explained that policy to them, you give them the signed, notarized Alabama marriage certificate, and they can either hand deliver the form or mail the marriage certificate to any Alabama County Probate Office. It does not have to be in the county where they reside. Most couples I found prefer to do it that way. In fact, I had one couple who insisted. The family has been in Alabama for generations, and they like that all of their past generations, all of their records are recorded there in their county. So they made sure, it had to be recorded in that county. But most couples that I deal with um, they choose the county that I'm in to record it. The couple, again, they pay the notary if the notary charges a fee, and then the couple will pay what is called a recording or filing fee at the probate office. Now, the amount of that fee varies by county, and it can vary greatly. So it's very important, you as a notary, you should find out what that recording fee is, because there's a good possibility the couple is going to ask you that. Now, you could say, I don't know, you'll have to call yourself, but if you're really being helpful, you know, it would be nice if you could say, you know what, I believe the last I checked, it was $75 or $100. Okay. So again, the couple can take it down there and wait while it gets recorded by the clerk, probate clerk, and the couple will leave, takes about 15-20 minutes, with their copy of the recorded Alabama marriage certificate. All right, we're going to stop there for this video. Now, the entire process isn't done yet. There's still more to do. But I want to pause here. I really wanted to just give you an overview, because in the next video, we're going to take a look at a sample marriage certificate, and then we're going to log on to alabamapublichealth.gov to see what the couple has to fill out in order to generate the form that they'll be bringing to you to sign and notarize. Now, if you have not yet subscribed to the Notaries for Alabama YouTube channel, I want to invite you to take a moment to do that now. It would go a long way for me to help make sure not only this video, but the other videos that I've recorded reach as many Alabama notaries as possible. And yes, I am aware that there are a number of you from other states who find benefit from some of the videos that I post. And I really, really appreciate you following along. And who knows, one year you may find yourself being a resident and notary for the state of Alabama, and this information will be helpful to that end. Did you know, even if a person resides in Texas, Anchorage, Alaska, Maine, or another country, they can still be married in Alabama as long as an Alabama notary notarizes their signature on the form. We'll talk more about that later. So, in the next video, again, we'll look at a sample marriage certificate. We'll hop on alabamapublichealth.gov, and then we will circle back, talk about frequently asked questions, get into, again, the other services that you can offer in addition to your notary role, for fee, that the couple appreciates you doing on their behalf. Some of you have questions, I'm sure. If so, go ahead, put them in the comments below. I will make every effort to answer each one right away. I appreciate you watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great evening. Make it a great day tomorrow.